How's it going? This is House at Bowling. Today I am joined by Theo Johnson of REX, Real Experience Ball Reviews, and we're going to talk about the house shot bag, the league tournament bag, basically anything that involves house shot bowling. But how you doing, man? How's it going?
Doing pretty well, Austin. How about yourself, brother?
Man, you know, another day, another dollar. Don't mind my Valentine's balloon back there next to my Christmas tree. My house is chaotic right now, dealing with all of this other stuff. So don't mind that. But before we really get started with the actual our arsenals or whatever, do you have like any other accounts that you want to plug or anything like that?
No. I just, like I said, I got my YouTube page. I'm really excited to kind of, show you guys cool bullet ball reviews, product reviews, vlogs, tips and tricks for bowlers. I just did a video coming out soon on how to increase your ball speed for two-handers, which I get asked about a lot. Theo, how the heck do you do that? So I'm posting that soon. And then I got my Instagram where you're going to find all of the cool stuff from Rex and also the introduction of Team Rex, which is a new thing coming soon. We're going to have people from different brands, different companies, right, coming in and doing ball reviews. That way we just have continuous flow of different balls on the channel.
That's what's up. And also right here on the screen, you can see where is it at on YouTube. And then I got his Instagram handle down there. Follow him there. I know he posts almost daily, if not multiple times throughout the day.
I try, man.
Many have to nowadays. But we'll go ahead and get started. I can go ahead and show you. I kind of got it separated into for league. I mean, a lot of people do go in the league with more than 3 balls. You don't really have to. I typically stay around the 3 to 5 range, but I chose 3 just for simplicity. And we can talk about other stuff that could fit in the spots or whatever. So here's my house bag right here. And it's kind of, blocking our faces or whatever. But as you can see, the 3 right here mainly that you see, 3D offset, my hammer. I just showed the Storm logo because it's just a Storm ice. Like all companies have their own version of a plastic ball for the most part. And then honestly, one of my favorite balls of all time right here, the Game Breaker 2 by Ebonite. I can go ahead and talk about layouts too. So spare ball, don't matter. Just drill the thing, who cares? With the 3D offset, I do have it at 70 by 5 by 30. And this is kind of like my big kind of control ball for this bag right now. And then when I need to get away from that, I go to the Game Breaker, which is actually a 5 by 30. And if you want to know the first angle, it's 50, but really don't matter that much either. And typically, I kind of switch out some of those balls with other things. I also have a Rotogrip Idol that I recently drilled not too long ago, but I'm trying not to put too many games on that right now, just because that's kind of a little gem right there. And depending on where I'm at league-wise, I don't really need to necessarily waste a lot of bowling balls, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get you.
Yep. And then with the Game Breaker, it's more of just I know what it's going to do all the time. And if I really need to, I need to really do good tonight, I just pull out the Game Breaker 2, and I really don't have to move that much with it because it is probably the smoothest ball I've ever owned. And sometimes with league, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, all the New Brunswick stuff's really, really amazing. Especially with some of the newer stuff coming out with that HK22.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff right there. Yeah, the Game Breaker 2 is one of my favorites, so for sure.
Yeah, I actually haven't drilled anything HK22 yet. I have a Defender hybrid here, but they don't got holes in it. And I have a Black Widow hybrid 2.0 in the way. And it's supposed to already be here, but some stuff kind of came up and I couldn't get it. But I am really excited to try it out because I've seen a lot of good things. There's a guy that I bowled on Tuesday who's been throwing the 3D attack a lot. And man, that ball just looks so good.
Yeah, it's a response down the lane. It's just a little bit different with that cover stock. You got like you mentioned previously, the Black Widow 2.0 hybrid. I just released a ball review on the Rex channel, so if you guys want to check that out, there is a review of the Black Widow 2.0 hybrid with the HK22. But it's just, it's crazy. You got one of the best bowling balls of all time with the gas core, and you wrap that around the HK22. That thing looks.
Right, it looks like it does.
Yeah, dude. So.
Yeah, but also with that, weight blocking that ball with the gas mask cord, you either love it or you really don't. But that thing, no matter what you put around that core, everything hooks so much. But I'm real excited. I haven't had a Black Widow since What was the last Black Widow I had? Black Widow Nasty.
Wow, that's like the Venom, like, but way back though. Like remember that?
Yeah,
Like, back in. Oh my gosh, that was like in 2008, 2009, 2010.
2010, 11-ish, something like that.
Yeah, right around there.
Yeah, and it was not that good. And honestly, I just haven't really had I went through like a big Storm phase for a while where I thought like everything Storm was great and I didn't want to throw anything else. And as I've gotten older, I've kind of grew out of that. But that's pretty much my 3-ball like league bag. I can go ahead and show your picture you sent me. I know it has 6 balls in it, but
yep, there's a reason.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull your picture up now. So go ahead.
All right, so typically when I'm like, well, here in Michigan, right, some of the shots, a lot of them are very high friction house patterns, and there's times where I'll go in and they'll be a little tighter or just be a little bit more hook. But I usually have 2 3-ball bags in my car, and then I might just have these 6 with me, always be like, all right, today I'm taking these in, today I'm taking these in. Well, in general, right, the plastic ball you see, my Joe Paul plastic ball, goes with me everywhere. That's my spare ball. I got my Obsession Tour, which has a bunch of games on it, right? It's got just a bigger VAL, 75 by 4.5 by 50, which for me, that's just the bigger sum. Super smooth, right? I'm two-handed. I'm kind of matched. I'm a little rev dominant, right? But I like the Obsession Tour because it allows me to give you that smooth shape, and I can always kind of predict what that ball is going to do. And I got the Ocean Vibe, which has been absolute clutch ball on the burn. It's also in my tournament bag. On that one, I have like a 90 by 4.25 by 30. For me, it's as a two-hander, I usually just stack it and then I kick my mass bias or CG to the left or to the right. It depends on what I'm looking at the ball to do, but obviously being symmetrical, it really doesn't matter, right? That static way of picking that means nothing, right? So, and then the Venom Shock, the Motive Venom Shock, literally one of the best balls I've ever thrown. As a one-hander, because I used to be one-handed, I had a bunch of the Motive stuff and it was really, really good. Venom Shock is my benchmark layout, 40 by 4 by 70, right? And I just like that kind of layout for me as a two-hander because it's just smooth, right? If I go a little taller with those pins, it's gonna pick up a little more, be a little bit more snappy, and just, again, places here just hook a lot, right? So I'm wanting stuff where I can just have a nice smooth motion. Game Breaker 2, I know you love yours, I love mine, right? I just have, the same kind of layout. I have 5-inch pin on mine, so it's like 5 by 65. Stacks up a little bit, kicks the mass bias, or kicks the CG, I'm sorry. Really simple shape, like you said, always can predict what that ball is going to do. But I've actually experimented with the Game Breaker 2, tried different surfaces, and it's crazy, bro. Like if I put that at 4,000, super smooth. Put it at 1,000, it's crazy good on sport, And then of course we have the Tropical Surge. Honestly, I was like, man, it's such a weak ball. I was kind of like, I don't know if I want this, dude. I'm telling you, that Tropical Surge is really good on high friction patterns. I bowl Friday at Northland in Holland, and the I don't know if on my videos on Instagram you can actually see I post a lot on Fridays, and when I post on Friday night, it's usually at Northland. Front part of the lane synthetic, last half of the lane is wood. You really need something that's gonna just not go whoop. So if I was to go in the league and throw a big asim there, I'd be screwed. Or I, go with something that's throwing like a big asymmetric ball. No, something very smooth, predictable. And for house patterns, you got that big ratio, right? Keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what I just tell myself, right? Just got all this room, but play where the shot is and just try to whack.
Yeah. So it's funny that you said Tropical Surge. I actually have a Tropical Surge also. I have the Emerald, the newer
nice.
Emerald one. Yeah, I use it a lot. And there's one house that I bowl at. Well, I don't want to say I bowl at regularly. I go there about a couple times a month down in Dalton, Georgia. It's kind of the same deal. Everything just flies there. So like typically I'm trying to think, the strongest ball that I've been able to get away with there was actually the 3D, but I polished mine. And it made it where it would just kind of like, it would actually get down the lane. Because like, if I can get it down the lane, it's fine, but they still fly like crazy. So I've done like GB2s, I've done Venom Shocks there. And the best things that I've really found I really liked was like raw hammers, Tropical Surges. And I typically just stay in and don't have to move a whole lot. But also another question. So you kind of answered it for me anyway. Do you typically gravitate towards symmetric balls for that reason because of the house that you bowl in, or do you like to switch it up depending on where you're at?
Like I said, it really depends, right? For league, for all the house shot leagues that I bowled in, honestly, I'll be dead honest with you. Like, if I throw asymmetric, it's short pin. But I'm talking like 2.5 inch, 2 inch pin, because if I go, let's say I go and drill that track archetype, right? I drill that and I put like a stronger layout. There's no way I'm gonna be able to go to Northland and throw that. That ball would hook immediately, right? And I'd be like, this is not worth my time. But in general, being a two-hander, being higher rev rate, symmetric stuff's fine. I don't really see a need of me bringing like some asymmetrical equipment. Now, the Obsession Tour is asymmetrical, but it has a lower diff, right? Keep that in mind, right? And then of course the surface, I just tons of games on it, and then it just starts to smoothing out. And that's another thing people don't realize. They buy a ball, I don't like it, change the surface, try something different. I think that helps a lot. When I'm bowling on house, most of my stuff usually 3,000 or above. With that surge, I hit that surge is like factory, and I just let it kind of lane shine. Yeah. That has a 3 3/4 by 70, so it's just kind of goes like this, and then it just, because that's all you need. Hope that helps answer your question. So
yeah, I did mine. I was worried if I went too strong with the pin that it wouldn't do anything. So I did like 4.5 by 40, and it's kind of did what you described. But also, I think with how weak that ball was, it really wouldn't have mattered what I did. It all would have been about the same.
Yeah, and you got to remember too, like style of bowler, right? I got a lot of people that message me on Instagram. Hey Theo, I got this new ball. Can you help me lay it out? I'm like, well, I need to know, what is your axis? How do you throw the ball? Send me a video, right? And then I watch them, and then I'm like, okay, this will work for you. What do you want it to do, right? Because you can go and you can just slap like a stack, like for one-hander, right? Because two-handers is a little bit different, but you stack like a layout, kick the mass bias, which is pretty standard, and it works for a lot of people. But if you are looking to achieve something very specific, like a hook set motion, this is just thinking as a one-hander, right? You have the 3 holes. You go up and you drill it above here, like above the ring to the right, and then you kick the mass bias kind of to the left, right? You'll kind of go and it'll kind of hook set. And I've done stuff where I kick the mass bias way right, and it's kind of the same thing, but it's like super rolly and round. So layouts can really help the dynamics and change like the structure of the ball and how it goes in the lane, right? In the core. But in general, right, it's just like your style matters a lot and what you're choosing. It's most of the lower rev guys, like if they're down and in guys, they come and ask me for something. I'm like for instance, I recommend my friend. He's like, hey, I found a Storm Nova at sale at my local pro shop. Would this be a good ball for me? He sent me a video. He plays down, and I'm like, of course, that's a great ball for you. And just stack her up, and he loved it. He shot like 700 his first night in league with it. So again, right, style, and that all matters too. So
of course it does. And I guess I can go ahead and show my other picture. This was actually my 6-ball bag, and this is kind of like for so if I go to a place where tournament wise, or go somewhere I really haven't been to, but I know it's a house shot. Of course, I still have the 3D, the spare ball, and the GB2, just because it's kind of a base. Like I can kind of base everything off that. I got an Obsession Tour also. It is actually 3 3/4 by. Wait, hold on. It's 40 by 3 3/4 by 70. Super strong, but because of how smooth the ball is, it's still real playable almost everywhere I go. But typically, I can't throw it everywhere. And then I have the Fate right here. If I remember right, it is 4.5 by 40. Because I typically play around with layouts. I typically don't use a lot of the same balls unless I'm trying to do a certain thing. And the Fate's honestly been a surprise just because I haven't really been a huge fan of, a lot of the Belmo balls, hard to believe. And also the Raw Hammer, it's just one of those, like, I can always go to that. I'm fine. I don't really have to worry about it. And with it, I went with a 4 by 30, which typically if I do have a base layout, it's 50 by 4 by 30. It just makes everything super simple and just nice and controllable. But anyway, that is basically what I roll with in a lot of house settings. Like I said, I can change a few things like Tropical Surge that I mentioned earlier, the idle, which I typically don't use unless it's like a lot of money is involved or I'm going out of town somewhere for like state or nationals or something along that nature. And I have a Zen, but I don't really throw the Zen that much as I used to. It just has so many games on it, so I just kind of push to the side and pull it out when I feel like I just need to throw something different.
Nice.
But you got any other balls you kind of like throw in the mix?
For house in general?
For like house conditions, like I know you showed me your 6, but do you have anything you kind of just like throw in and out?
Yeah, so a Wolverine Dark Moss. I throw that a lot, believe it or not, and that rolls really, really good. It's super clean. I have a Storm High Road that I throw. Just another really good ball for house shots. I hit that with 3,000 because I felt like it was, I don't know, it's gonna sound crazy. I threw a 15-pound one, then I threw a 14-pound one. For some reason, my 14 just is super like angular and stronger than the 15 that I threw. I don't know. That's because of the difference in the core numbers. And it might sound silly, but the high road's been really, really good. The dark moss has been really, really good. Trying to think of other ones. The knockouts. So I just drove the knockout bruiser. That's pretty good. The Brunswick knockout bruiser. So I have had a black and blue. Really like the black and blue when I was one-handed. But the bruiser's a little bit, it just kind of goes a little bit more skid snappy. But that one's like really, really good. I hit that with 2,000. It's been pretty clutch. I have a Zen U, which is super surprising how freaking awesome that ball is. It's a short pin, so that's another ball. Like if they're cliffed, or I'm just like, I want, like you said, try something different for fun. I'll just pull her out. And then I got a Venom Coral, which the Coral Venom, the Blue Coral Venom's been really good too, just because it's smoother, a little bit stronger than my Venom Shock, but it gives me a different shape.
I had a Coral too, and I actually like that one a lot too. I didn't keep it for a long. I didn't keep it for a long time just because of other reasons, but that honestly was one of my favorite balls of last year.
Nice.
But all right, that is the house section of this series. Before we get out of here, I want to go ahead and plug your stuff one more time. REX on YouTube, Theo Rocker 247 on Instagram, and I appreciate you spending your time with me, and can't wait to do this again.
Thanks, Austin. You're the man.
All right, see y'all later.